Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's show. I didn't have too much luck wrangling up guests for today, so I am also sitting in the great debate room. Let me click and make sure I'm there for you guys if you pop into the green room. If there is any lag or any problem, let me know. There's a few things I've been meaning to go through and do on my computer. They'll have to wait for the weekend, if at all possible. Yes, please make sure that you're on live chat. Let me do the same thing. Make sure that all of my chat messages are reading the same thing. And let everybody know that there has been a new word programmed into the bot. Have fun trying to find it. If it's anything like the last couple, it's just gonna come up as a weird situational word that will come across, I guess. I don't want it being obvious, you know? But the bot can be killed. The bot can be killed. All you guys have to do is try really hard or come up with the weirdest words, which takes me a while to come up with. So when you guys figure that out, it's Trezwolf needs a nap. I apparently was racing you to Discords posting my link this afternoon here. That was fun trying to delete my links as I realized you had just done them. Let's see what I did with the board. I think I hid it somewhere else. I'm making some small fixes here. Didn't change anything, just trying to make it easier for me. We'll see how it goes, right? Click, click, click on my end, and there it is.
Welcome to the Great Debate.
All right. For some reason this week, I have been with an abundance of questions. Maybe it's all the stuff going on in the news and how I look at things. Maybe it's just that I've tried to not change as much this week and take a little more time to try and look for new ideas. But I've got a load of extra questions. It could also be that there's a lot of stupid questions mixed in there, but shit happens, you know. All right, so with that being said, and the board being loaded on the screen, who is picking today's first topic? Where's my Jeopardy tune? We'll get that in the background here. Less brain rot. Are you working on the word? I guarantee you the word is not going to be easy to come across. However, it is a well-known word. And again, that makes it really hard to find. How am I going to find a word that you guys will figure out, but you won't figure it out too easily? I mean, I don't want the bot getting fried every day. It takes away from the fun. Television is what we seem to have from Data Wasteland. Which is more important, seeing someone who represents you? Yeah, let me start over. Which is more important, seeing someone who represents who you are, or seeing something to aspire to? And because I have the Jeopardy theme playing and I didn't use the right volume bar, dumbass. Anti-de-establishmentarianism? Anti-de-establishmentarianism? No, that's not it. I don't use that every day. I don't think about that as a regular word. Ointment is a regular word, but not something you'd think of every day. Just remember that. Are they not both? I need to fix this so I can read chat without having to stare over. Are they not both? Here's the argument. We've all... I'll get Skeeter. It's not Skeeter. Which is more important, seeing someone who represents you, who you are, or seeing something to aspire to? So, okay, here is the dilemma I was thinking about. I was reading and watching a couple videos on the new Roseanne show, in addition to what I was saying last week, and with with the controversy over the show, it's putting on TV and in light something to see. Now, Roseanne previously used the show to say, well, women can do this too, and her sister, whatever her name was, sorry, got became a police officer when there weren't a lot of women cops. And I thought that was cool, but they took that out of the new show. So what they've done now is made her a pussy hat wearing, Hillary Clinton following something or other. And is that saying that she's on the show to represent the population who has those opinions? Or is that saying that she's on the show for people to aspire to? Obviously, don't take this the wrong way, but nobody wants to aspire to live the life of Roseanne or anybody in that family. But that just ends up happening to be the life that a lot of people in America live. Because we look forward to the next paycheck and we don't have money in the bank to fix things as shit goes wrong. And when we lose our job, it's we lose our job, our house, our car, and we need to find a place to stay. Not okay, well, I got 400 grand in the bank. We should be good for a year, so I can take a sabbatical. It's two different worlds, and while I can watch Roseanne, and again, I'm only using it because it's current. When I watch it, it's someone who kind of represents who I am. I live in a middle America, right below the poverty line, or I'm somewhere around that poverty line, and I see the show and it represents the life that I live. But I don't see anything on the show to aspire to. Whereas somebody else could watch the show and see, what was the kid's name again? Mark, wearing a dress and go, okay, well, if he can do it, so can I. Or, what's another good example in TV right now? I don't watch a lot of TV, just what my wife turns on when I'm walking through the house. It's a weird situation when you have people calling out for more representation of who they are and less representation of who they could be. So when Roseanne was on before, there was representation that a woman could be a cop. It was something to aspire to. And now that representation is lost in the show, and I don't know who there is to aspire to in the show anymore. There's nothing to bring people up on. It just seems to keep bringing up the same conversation that everybody's having, that we need more representation in TV. We need to give roles to people because of who they are and not what they've done to prove themselves for the role. I identify as Dan. I love my garage, and when I get annoyed with the rest of the family, I'll see you in a little while, I'll be in the garage. That is, after dinner, okay, I'm done with the conversation, I need to go unwind, I'll be in the garage. It's weird, though, when you identify with a show to relax into and watch. When I was a kid, I didn't identify with Roseanne, and it was a good show, but it wasn't my favorite show. Bubonic. Wrenchless Lives Matter. Bubonic, if you would like a wrench, you come on the show, and I will give you a wrench. Well, you got to come on for a planned episode or so I can get your picture up on the screen and everything. Do some of my hard work for the show that I haven't done in a couple of days. Who I am. I don't think I would want to see someone who represents who I am. Now it's enterbrainment. There was a point we all kind of remember in the 80s and 90s and almost into the 2000s where it was, you don't look at a person for the fact that they're man or woman. You don't look at a person because they're black or white. You look at what they have done and what they can do. And a huge part of looking at people is being able to say, okay, well, you look like somebody who you were 10 minutes early for your interview, you're dressed nice, you wear a belt, your pants aren't sagging, you have good presentation to you. I would put you in front of customers and you look like you'll probably do the work. What have you done before that will corroborate what I can tell from your appearance? Now it's okay, well, you've done this and this and this before, and you took this 300-point questionnaire, and uh, um, what else can we ask you? Are you willing to work? Is that too much to ask? And it's just gotten stupid, and it's because we're not showing people that they have to work hard to get somewhere. We're starting to show that it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. Just settle down and be, relax. And I guess I can see both sides really well. However, in my mind, I can only really agree with the idea that I would rather see something on TV to aspire to. But at my age, it's no longer what I can aspire to. It's what I'm never going to do because I've gone too far. I'm too far in my life to change the decisions I've already made and the parts I've screwed up. So watching Roseanne is like, cool, I can relate to this. It works for me. Whereas when I was younger, I used to love watching the shows that, depicted kids getting good grades in school and then going off to college and getting good jobs or something like that. Movies that would emphasize hard work and, eventually you make a screw up, and it's not like that anymore. But moving on. All right, we are back at the board. This magical board. This red overlaid white lettered chalkboard. What are we going to talk about, guys? Yes, Dada, I'm rambling. I do that. Yep. All right. We're back at the board. Back at this board. What do I got in here? Did I add anything else to the bots that I didn't tell you? I bet you I did. Oh, it's not the volume data. Sorry, I was, hold on. Let me make a little noise here. I have a desk in the living room, and it's on wheels. And I moved it the other day to let everybody watch TV. And now I gotta get it back in front of the TV so I can see everything. There we go. Now I can see, and you can hear me. Movies. I love movies. What's your favorite? Are we approaching a point in which movies where nostalgia of what was cool is almost better than what is being made now? And for reference, I have not seen the movie that this question sort of leans into, and that's the new movie from Steven Spielberg that came out last weekend, Ready Player One. Kind of want to see it, but I'm not going to go pay a cinema $10 per ticket for 4 people and buy snacks and drinks, because I'm broke, so to speak. I was going over bills today and realized that I need to make sure that we don't buy extras for a couple of weeks till I fix what my wife let happen on her card. But we'll move on from there. We're approaching a point in movies where I think that looking back and reminiscing on what we've already seen, what we've done, the things we've been through, and revisiting them fondly might be better than some of the stuff that's being put out now. And of course, you can completely disagree with this because some of the stuff being put out now is new and it has fresh look and state-of-the-art technology that you can definitely tell in the older shows wasn't there. But I almost think that the older shows, the nostalgia for the older shows is not just what they did in those movies and shows. It's what they had to do and how they got creative to do it. There's movies out there before CGI and special effects where the movie would have these cool features, and it's because they'd record it this way and then overlay it, or they would record part of this down. No green screen. They'd have to use full props. They'd have to make more of the set. They'd have to find better places to film and get the lighting just right. There was no ability to screw up and fix it in post. You got the movie right the first time, and they worked really hard at it. And when you look back at old movies, you could see the effort in some places. Like, wow, that looked almost real. And then you look at new movies and you go, wow, that looks really cool. And I'm afraid, because I've heard a couple of good reviews. I've heard some really good reviews. I've heard some middle of the road reviews. I've heard some bad reviews. And then I've heard the SJW reviews about Ready Player One. And my fear is that what they've done, when I'll find out when I watch it, is they're going to take that was cool, that was interesting, that I didn't expect that. And it's going to be more of, well, that was cool. But why didn't they, if they used the effects to do this, why didn't they do that? It's not, oh, check that out. That is awesome. Look at what they did there. They made this look so real that it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But if you look back at movies fondly, realizing the work, the effort, the story, the plot line, and then you look at the new movies that are trying to be nostalgic at those old movies, it's almost like you've lost that, oh, that's awesome, for, oh, that's cool. Maybe that's just me. I see a lot of movies where they put in so many special effects that it almost member berries. Isn't that from a kid's show? I'm sitting here looking at member berries going, I've heard it before. Isn't that from, is that a Dora thing? That's not a Dora thing, is it? It's got to be one of those, like, fairy shows or something. Which makes you realize I have kids. South Park. Oh! That's why it's not familiar. I haven't watched South Park in years. I need to sit down and binge watch things like South Park and The Simpsons and stuff. That way I just get a good laugh when I need it. Member berries! Member! Yeah, that's right. That's where member! Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. NumbedSkull 2018. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know those really, really big beer mugs you see? They're really heavy. They're like a quarter of an inch thick glass. And they're solid, heavy glass. I got me a bunch of those. That's a heavy cup. It's a really heavy cup. Moving on. Member berries. Sure, everything's a relevant point if it relates. Steins. It is relevant. Steins. What's Steins? Stein. I missed something. Major point during the election. I voted. My state voted against me. And that is all I have to say. Berenstein. There's a name for that, and it escapes me right now. It's something paradox. Starts with an M, I think. Moving on. Steins. I don't have Steins on the board. Those are large German beer glasses. Yes, it is. And I have the large half-inch thick glass pitchers that go with them, too. I have 2 huge pictures and 8 of these glasses. So when I throw parties, I pull this shit out. People think it's so cool. Sci-fi Stein. It's always thought to be Stein, given it's Dutch. Wait, are you asking? I don't have sci-fi on the board. What? Now you're confusing me. Come in my chat and give me a hard time confusing me. Won't even come on the show and tell me what the hell you're talking about. Steiner Bros. You're gonna make me use the internet. That's right, I said the internet. I have no idea what the Steiner Bros is. And I have no... I like it. Scott Steiner. Wrestler? Randy Savage, Sting. Maybe I got the wrong thing. What the hell did I type in? Nanny, nanny, poo poo. Dutch. German in German. Doot. Alright, I think we're getting way away from the board, guys. Way away from the board, guys. I need to do another BS stream for everybody just to come in and have a good time, don't I? I'm a subverter, didn't you know? Oh, okay. Oh, so. You guys, okay. Dark Sasuke says sex. Sex it is. We're gonna get sex. Would sexting, phone sex, and online sex be equal to viewing porn? Obviously, the first two are a little harder to equate, but I wanted to put them in the category because what the fuck do you ask about sexting? That's where I started, and I was just sitting there like, sexting? I haven't talked about sexting yet. No sexting in my chat, please. No interaction versus view. Now, we could discuss the absolute fact that it is possible to train your mind to orgasm on command without physical contact. Let's narrow this down on online video chatting. If you're online video chatting with somebody, is that porn? Oh, I don't know why. Oh, it rubs the oil on its skin or it gets the hose. Is that sexting? Maybe. Is it vegetable oil? Oh, coconut oil? Coconut oil is a little sexier than vegetable oil. Is sex texting? It's sex test. Oh, yes. Sexting is texting erotic messages back and forth. Or what? What else is it? Somebody help me. I'm not a real good sexter here. I don't even think I'd be real good at, like, online video chat. Because, I'm not... I mean, I could probably enjoy myself, but will she listen to what I tell her to do? I guess that's the real problem. Reading isn't too bad, but is she going to be smart enough to know how to write things to appeal to me? And that's not downing women in any way, shape, or form. That's just saying the person's got to know me. The real-time communication thing might help. Maybe the voice for phone sex could help. I don't know. If someone gets up real close and tells you what they want to do, and yeah, would that help? I don't think that'd help. Maybe it'd help. Might help me. I'll have to try it. I'll have to put my wife in the other room, have her call me, and try that. Send her text messages from across the living room. See what happens. My wife will kill me with laughter. No. Interaction beyond self-view. Web-enabled remote-controlled sex toys. I've been looking at those. They start at $90. The ones that connect to the iPhone. I was thinking about getting my wife one to send her to work. Interaction. Oh, you're not talking about those. You're talking about the ones like in the videos on Pornhub where you donate money and it sets things off, right? Love sense. Is that what it's called? Thank you for informing us from your knowledge. I appreciate it. Bubonic says from experience that he knows it's a love sense account you need to get in order to make these vibrators work. Maybe he could explain a little better what we have to do and how much does it cost us to get a love sense account. And then do you buy coins or is it the dollars that you donate that go towards the vibrations? That's what the toy is called. Oh, the toy is the love sense. Okay, I'm glad you were able to clarify that for us. To have key lock boxes, you actually seen. What does that say? Hold on, it's got to pop up on a window where I can read the whole thing. They have vibes that have key lock boxes. You actually seem to know more than me just based on your guessing. The internet is for porn, and I have 3 windows open with internet searches going right now. I search it all day long. I have found some horrifying things that make my body hurt. Like, how, how do you put a hollow metal rod up through yourself without screaming in agony? No. How? That's a medical procedure. You don't do that to yourself. However, I've also seen some really, really fun ways to tie knots, and very slowly. I'm as a person who has had medical and health problems before. A catheter fucking hurts. No way in hell would I choose to do that to myself. No. What else? The interwebs. Leave your innocence at the door, please. If you have innocence on the internet, um, I could direct you to a few sites that'll help with that. Google, really good. Just type in worst thing to find on the internet, and it'll probably take you there. Let me try that. Hold on. We're going to do this as an experiment since the timer ran out. Just for fun. Let's... New tab. Let me know if my stream breaks up, guys. I spelled internet wrong. Fuck you. I forgot an E. Thank you, Google, for fixing. Top things not to search on Google. First result. Oh, there's a top 50 things on the internet 2017. 13 things you should never search on Google. Nikki Katsouris death photograph. Why? Died in a car accident at 18 in Lake Forest, California. Katsouris has been driving her father's Porsche before losing control of the vehicle and colliding with a toll booth. Well, they do tell you to slow down to 5 miles per hour in most places, so, you know. Alright. So apparently there's photographs on the internet. And no, I do not want a new credit card. Brian Peppers. Not going to read that. Ooh, what is that? The meatspin.com. That looks like a really, really, really good fucking spinning meat. I get blue waffle. Dad is trying to send me love sense information. What are you sending me, Sasuke? He. Alright, let me turn off my audio here so you don't get me in trouble. There we go. There we go. Now you won't hear any effects. Let me move the board back over here. I'll give you guys a minute to look. And I got a 3-minute video. Loading. Sorry, guys. Gotta be the internet. Alright, so we're picking the internet next. Let me. Does dependence on the internet for information create more blur than mainstream media with the abundance of varied stories?
Ready, normal people? Ready.
Ready? Ready.
Let me hear it.
I'm still listening to it. I can't help it, guys. I'm not sure what their avatars are, but whoever did this did a good job. More porn, at least. Okay, I gotta pause that. I'm distracting myself. Okay, does corruption, does dependence on the internet for information create more blur than mainstream media with the abundance of varied stories? Okay, this could have gone in either category, but it landed here because I felt this is where there was more news. So, if you watch news channels, there's a set number of channels, and they have a set amount of programming, and they put out a set amount of news. And when they put their news out, they put out their story, and they monitor the newscast to find out, what their stories are. On the internet, you have organizations that bring you the news, but they're not news organizations. And there's far more of them. And even as I search, I find more people trying to do news, or more people taking the news and spinning it, or people writing articles that don't say the same thing as the news did. They spin it and say, but this is a conspiracy to do this. And you have access to all of these different perspectives and lies and alternate truths, and flat out, I didn't know anything, and I just kind of wrote a story about it. Welcome, Dong Wrangler. And does that mean that the internet creates more of an unknowing blur in the news than mainstream media does? Because at least with mainstream media, you usually hear about the same topics across them. They're almost always portrayed relatively close. But on the internet, you get people that come up and go, well, in a pizza shop in Maryland, there's a basement that doesn't really exist. And in that basement, they move children through there to sell as slaves. Wait, where the hell did that story come from? Yes, I'm talking about Pizzagate. To hell with everybody. Fucking bullshit, stupid story. Came from the internet and then went to mainstream media. It's almost come to a point where even mainstream media sometimes gets their news from the internet. People that are willing to say something or do something then become mainstream media news. Where, don't get me wrong, not going to say I disagree with some people or being able to show YouTubers on the internet, but I've watched Diamond and Silk show up on Fox, and they have political views, and so they're now news correspondents with Fox, or, on-call guests with Fox. And at the same time, I just lost one in my head. Why can't I think of her name? I did a video on her about socialautopsy.com. Red Pill Black. Candace Owens has been on newscasts lately. She started out down on YouTube. Well, we won't go to how she really started out from all that controversy, but if you do want to know, I have a video somewhere way back in my library about her, and some information about her and where she did get started and what started her career basically was her name being put out in public over something that went wrong. No, she's not the ex-cop. I think you're thinking, Tree of Logic. Tree of Logic was the ex-cop. She did a bunch of stuff talking against Candace Owens, and apparently Candace Owens had the debate with Blair White, which didn't make any sense. Red Pill Black is an idiot and like that. Yeah, Tree of Logic. But there are so many. All right, let's say I go off right now and I read a story published by another news organization, and I read that story and I go, this is what they said. And because of this, I believe that this news story links back to the Trump P dossier from Russia, because 3 of the words in the story were keywords in the Trump dossier. And so Trump was involved in... Wait, what? Like thought numbskull, meaning she is thought for likes. Held for hours, began 2 minutes ago, Bugonic. Guys, no, guys, hey guys, guys, we gotta get this under control, guys, we gotta make this sensible, we gotta have a conversation here, guys. Yeah, I saw those clips, that was funny shit. That hole over there. Some iced tea. Lemon flavored. When I was looking at the news, I thought it was more appropriate for this one to be on the internet topic, because there is far more news on the internet, and when you get a lot of people that watch a lot of different content, and then you see the internet content, sometimes that content could dissuade people to a story that's not true. Like there's a basement under a pizza shop that doesn't have a basement. You'd think that would be the first indicator. But okay. Be gone, Lex!
Skeeter, Lex is here, go get her!
Most mainstream media say the same thing. Yeah. However, I'm not saying the news on the internet is wrong. Some people on the internet actually travel to go get the news. They're going to be more accurate than those who sit and read stories. Now, I have nothing against somebody like Maddie, the news chick, who tries to take all of the stories, look for all the coinciding evidence between them, and use that as the basis for the story instead of all the mumbo-jumbo you toss in there with the feelings and shit. And this narrative of our owners want to push. Our owners? I'm not owned. I'm free. Okay, here's my taxes. What are we talking about next, guys? Also, who wants to make the bot gamble? Just type gamble. Look, it's gambling already. We are all owned by the banks, including the government. Hey, look, Nightbot won. Oh, you know how you can tell the weather's almost getting nice? I'm near a main drag, and I know there's red light about half a mile down one way and a half a mile down the other way. And out of nowhere, I will know when that light turns green, because you'll hear this going down the road. And it's a road away. You get these people with cars that don't have mufflers, and they're just like, hey, look, it's loud if I pound on it. And they're doing 5 miles an hour. Their car's at like 90 decibels. Although I've had cars like that. I've had creator tips. You choose or chose. Did I miss it the first time? You choose. You choose. And we will do creator tips. Wow, it's been a while. What did I even have in this category? Rely on your instinct to question yourself and what you are doing. It can lead you and help you improve and continue creating. This would be my own personal creator tip. Um, I have a habit of going back a week or a month later and picking, right now it's picking random shows, watching through the show all the way and trying to pick out little things I screw up between the show. And I, wow, yes, being self-critical is very productive. You got to do it in the right way though. What I try to do is pick out my screw-ups. Okay, I had an audio error. Is there anything I can do to prevent that audio error in the future? Okay, I didn't see something in the chat. What can I do? Or okay, this bot response is annoying, not funny or fun. I need to change it. I go back and I try to watch the show for a, if I was going to if this wasn't my show and I was going to improve upon it, what would I do? And what would I do? It's little things. That's why you see me sometimes go, okay, I'm coming up on a time. This weekend it's not going to be so much, fixing the show as trying to make sure my computer keeps moving quick. But I come up on these, okay, it's time to start fresh. There's a few things that have been bothering me and a few things that I'd like to work on. And the best way to sometimes do that is to start clean. It is my instinct to question it, and I think that if I ran from the first show and didn't question how and what I do, I wouldn't have as many of you here as I do now, which granted isn't a lot, but I only had like 2 people for my first show. And the views on it are still incredibly low, even compared to shows right now to me. They're at like 15, and I've had shows hit 40 and 50. So, if I didn't question to improve, would I have made it better? Would it have been good if I left it like that and just had 6 questions for the whole show? It's being able to look back and judge myself and question whether or not what I did was the better part that allows me to continue, because I do give myself a little credit. I look for the best part of the show that I have, and I try to stick with that. So it's the board. The board is the thing that has to stay with the show. It's got to be the best part. So that board always has to look like it's fresh. If the board starts to look stale, or if I use the wrong colors, certain people are going to get an off-put vibe. Like, let's say if I use like teal or turquoise or some off, not bright color that gives you a different kind of vibe. The life not self-examined is the life not lived. Socrates. Interesting. Maybe I'll go back and steal that. Bubonic, it's interesting. You saw me in your chat yesterday. I had to go through and watch my entire stream yesterday and figure out who it was that I told, sure, I'll come on your show, just message me. And I was like, okay, now who was that? Because now that I know, I want to follow up with it. And that's the kind of person I try to be, is always looking at what can I do to change, what can I do to improve, how do I make this better than it is. Let me look back. I think I missed a couple things. Self-critical is very productive. In my case, it is also self-destructive, but at least my art becomes better. Again, you can't be judging yourself with the intent to say that what you're doing is bad. What you gotta do is judge yourself to remove the worst parts about what you do. So, if you personally don't like how something turns out, that doesn't mean it's bad. But if you go back and look at it again and go, that's a little off, it could be better, and then correct it from there, that's not changing what you're doing, it's improving on it. So when I do make the changes, I feel the changes I make are improvements, not changing the show. If that makes sense. Even though some of them have been, moderately big changes. Have a good day, Sasuke. Enjoy that alarm. The life is not self-examined, I think. Okay, I read that part. Um, this is something I've taken into account the whole time I've been on YouTube. I'm always going back and checking my videos. That's how I got my audio to start to get better. And then I asked questions and found out, I'm definitely going to need a mic because programs can't fix what I'm trying to do live. And it's the ability to question what you've done and try to look at it from an objective perspective. Don't look at it like, okay, I did this, it's crap. Look at it like, okay, something in here has to go to bring the best out. What has to go? And that's what you look at, is look for that rough edge. Look for the spot that needs to be sanded. My own tip as a creator to whoever would like it. What do we got? 10 minutes left? We might be able to do one more. At a certain point, you need to have to look at what you need to be doing ahead and what you want ahead of what you want to do. Okay, I have a goal for this show. At no point will I let my aesthetic view of the show interfere with the goal of the show, bringing up topics, points, questions, and different perspectives. I could go with a whole new board, and if I found a cool new board that I could figure out, program, and put up, I would, so long as the board still presented what I wanted to with the show. Now, the reason the board becomes so important is, for me, I don't want to know what the question that's going to be picked is, because I have, a little spot where I go out and I clear my mind and I try to look at everything fresh as I'm doing the show with the guest or without the guest. To know and plan for what each topic would be each show and go, okay, so topic 1 is trees. How are 100-foot trees worse than 50-foot trees in large national forests? Yes, I'm getting the question across. I'm asking something. We're going to get to a point. But at the same time, is me laying out the questions to do in a specific order going to help? Because then the guests are going to want the questions. Well, part of the fun is the guest doesn't know what the questions are. They're just gonna pop up. So it's best if I don't pick, because I sort of know what's under there, and that the guest picks. At the same time, it's best that the guest not know what might be under there, because it could sway what they come into the conversation with. I don't want to tell somebody we're talking about schools and have somebody come in, okay, well, I wanted to make sure I get across the point that 40% of school children don't have money at home and the taxes aren't collected enough to pay for school books and this and this and this and this. And no. I want to know how you feel from your perspective. I don't want you coming in here loaded with facts, screaming about somebody's side that you're supporting because you're there. I want something fresh from your point of view, fresh from your mind, without laying it out ahead of time. Platforms. And the decision as simple as don't moderate or moderate heavily. Let me reread that to read it properly. Is the decision as simple as don't moderate or moderate heavily? Bare bones way to ask this question, and I can apply it on multiple levels here. So we can go YouTube, but let's go small scale YouTube. Is the decision as simple as don't moderate or moderate heavily? So if I let you guys post anything you want in this chat, which I do, however, in the back of my head, if certain things come out in my chat, you're probably losing my wrench and getting booted. If you try to dox somebody, anybody, and I think that's what you're doing, you're on your way out already. If you threaten to not jovially like my bots, obviously, if you threaten to come after somebody or there's a hostile argument or something, you're out. So I will even moderate. But I don't have any moderation set down for my chat, if that makes sense. There's no kill words that'll remove what you say from my chat. There's no swear and you'll be removed. I think I made sure that you can spam in here and everything. There's no moderation until you cross that point that I deem necessary. But then I could at any point go, you know what? I've decided that I'm done with the swear words. I'll take them all out of the bots and I'll ban swear words in here. Now, once I start on that, people are going to start trying to put in symbols instead of swear words, and I'm going to have to keep adding new symbols. And then they're going to use other things, and I'm going to have to keep adding new stuff. And then they're going to come up with creative ways to phonically respell it, and I'm going to have to add new stuff. And now I'm continuing to moderate, and that moderation gets heavier and heavier and more layered every time I have to add something. Every time somebody figures out how to supersede that. If, as opposed to moderating, I let everything go, and I just not approach or discuss, but I just outright dismiss something and let it just run. Hey, you're a fucker. I'm going to find out where you live and I'm going to shoot you in the back of the head. Do I let that run in my chat? If I let it run, is it serious? Is it my concern because you're in my chat? When does it become my concern? At what point should I have moderated? Make me a sandwich. I am hungry. Rules of the internet number 9. There are no rules about the moderation either. Enjoy your ban. What else am I missing? Fire, fire, fire. Yes, but we're not all going to leave if I yell fire. And that's where the platform moderation and censoring comes in. At what point does me saying something to you on the internet equate to hostility in the real life? At what point does me yelling and screaming at you become, or throwing profanities, degrading you, calling you names, every something ism in the book? At what point is that me needing moderation? At what point am I causing hostility? If I don't know who you are, where you are, probably don't. You can always assume that somebody on the other end might know where you are, how to find you. It's a really difficult play. And I, at one point, thought about moderating out my own personal information. And then something clicked in my head that if I moderate my name and my personal information and somebody else comes in and happens to say something or talk about somebody else with a name close to or equal to mine, then it would moderate them out, and after a period of time you would find out what my name is because of moderation. It can be used both ways, and I always try to look at different situations of something. I could moderate out so my name doesn't come up in the chat ever. But then if somebody else ever put my name in the chat, not knowing, all of a sudden, I've just said that's my name by trying to make sure nobody's saying my name. If that makes sense to you guys. I know my logic doesn't always add up to everybody, but I do try to think things through. Legally speaking, a threat has to be credible in order to be actually considered a threat. Me threatening to drop 50 nukes in the... Does that say shitler or shitter? And your shitter isn't really a threat. However, me threatening to shoot you in the back of the head could be construed as a threat. Should you have the evidence that I know who you are, or the thought that I know who you are? Does that make sense? There is still that implied fear of the threat, even though the threat can't be substantiated because it's on the internet. You don't know on the internet, again, back to the anonymity, you don't know who has the ability to read your ISP and track your location. You don't know who can determine from you visiting a site where you live and what you're doing and the device you're using. YouTube can do it. YouTube tells me when you guys are using Android or Windows or Apple. Windows tells me if you're on your phone, your tablet, or your computer. If I knew there was only one or two people in here and I knew where they were, I could probably track them down to their country of origin, what device they're using. And I'm sure if I could hack into YouTube or Google just a little, I could get a whole lot more. That's kind of scary. So, moderating things out could be bad. Not moderating could also be bad. You just don't know. Death Hyrukin, welcome. How are you doing? You showed up just at the end of the show, but glad you came. Make sure you hit that button because I'll be back on tomorrow at 9 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, guys. Let's make this board disappear. Can I make the board disappear? I gotta simplify this stuff. I've got too many things up here. All right, and then my stupid thanks for tuning in screen, guys. Where is this? Here. I'm getting it. One day, maybe I'll get somebody to talk to in here again. And some music on the way out, guys. Thanks for showing up. It's been interesting. It's been fun. There's plenty more conversations to be had on the next show tomorrow at 9 Eastern. Thanks for tuning in.